Hey guys, Truetalk here, and today we're going to be going over Black Lightning episode 12 that aired earlier this evening. So the first thing that I want to talk about in this episode is Khalil returning. So towards the beginning of the episode, we see that Khalil is back. He has new spinal implants that is making him able to walk again, and he all of a sudden has dreads, which is explained later on in the episode when he was explaining to Jennifer what he went through and how, the implant worked and how, I guess, it hurt, and him describing, the ordeal that he went through, and that apparently they gave him some pills to, I guess, help with the pain or whatever, and to help him regenerate, and it allowed him, or it made him grow his hair grow fast, so he now has dreads. So this is interesting. Apparently there are pills that help you regenerate. Don't know what that means, but that's interesting to see. And we also see that him and Tobias have a relationship now, and Khalil is, indebted to Tobias because of what he did for Khalil. So Khalil is basically loyal to Tobias, otherwise Tobias will take care of him, essentially. The next person that I want to talk about is Jennifer in this episode. So in this episode, we see that her and her mother Lynn is studying the metagene to, try to understand it and maybe possibly figure out how to isolate it and such. We don't know if it's going to work. As Lynn explains, this is all experimental and she's just kind of studying it to try to understand what's going on, and nothing is guaranteed, but Jennifer seems to be happy with the idea of, her meta powers going away. So this is a continuation of what we've seen in previous episodes of her, not wanting her powers, not wanting the responsibility, and etc. I would be interested to see if her views are going to change come next episode. Towards the end of the episode, we see that she is in the school when Khalil is attacking the school along with Tobias Whale and Cyanide. His right-hand woman were all attacking the school, and we see that she kind of ends up being the one to help her dad and use her powers. So I'm kind of hoping, or I want her to, realize that these powers aren't, a curse, and I am excited to see if she's going to embrace her powers in the next season, in season 2, and maybe even get a suit. So next person I want to talk about from this episode is Jefferson Black Lightning himself. We really see him more as the principal this episode, because we see him talk to Khalil, we see him be the principal, and at the very end of the episode we see him suit up as Black Lightning when Khalil, Tobias, and Cyanide are attacking the school. The interesting thing to point out about him this episode, or what's going to be, continuing on, is in this fight, Khalil is able to hit him with whatever green light needle or whatever chemical he was shooting at people, at students. I assume it's green light. And he lost his powers. Or he wasn't able to use his powers, and he was able to be taken out fairly quickly by Tobias and Khalil. And they think that he's dead, but obviously he's not dead, as later on we see that Jennifer is able to, jumpstart him back with her powers, and the Pierce family and Gamby are retreat or run away to a safe house, and they're going to be treating Black Lightning. So I would be interested to see if, because of the green light or whatever they hit him with, he no longer has his powers, and they're going to have to find another way for him to get his powers back, or maybe it was just like a temporary blocking of his powers. That should be interesting to see between, the counteract, like, does the new formula, result in like a reversal of the old vaccine that we know that the ASA was testing 30 years ago. So last but not least, let's talk about Tobias Whale. So at the very beginning of this episode, we see Tobias Whale return. So he was at the ASA getting, rejuvenated or repaired after getting injuries from the last time we saw him in the club fight with Black Lightning. So he's returned. We also see in the episode that he has, I guess, mind control of Lala. So I guess he was the one that resurrected Lala while he was away to kind of keep things in line in a sense. So we're going to, I guess, continue to see that Tobias has the control of Lala and is going to be making Lala, I guess, do his dirty work when he doesn't want to or can't do things. And as we saw in this episode, we saw that Tobias had Lala go kill an arms dealer in the city. So I guess we're gonna be continuing to see that, and that's interesting to see, that Tobias has that kind of power just by his voice telling him what to do, and Lala has to listen. The last thing that I want to talk about Tobias is at the end of the episode, we see that, everything is going towards his plan. Him and his sister orchestrated the killing of Lady Eve in order to take her spot with the ASA. And his next plans are to kill Proctor, who is the guy who is the head of the ASA that we've been seeing and, wants this experiment to continue. So Tobias's next plan is to kill him and basically try to take over the ASA and to take the city as his own. So that should be interesting to see come next episode. Now let's take a look at the episode description for next week's episode, which is the season finale of Black Lightning. Shadow of Death, the Book of War. The Showdown. The aftermath of the showdown with Black Lightning leaves everyone reeling. So this is basically going to be a continuation of last episode's story point of Black Lightning fighting Tobias and everyone else. He's going to, be recovering from this. Again, as I said before, I'm interested to see if that green light, and him not being able to use his powers is a temporary thing, or if it's like semi-permanent, because we know that he has to have his powers because he's Black Lightning, and this is, a comic book TV show about Black Lightning. So he has to get his powers back somehow. But I'm interested to see if maybe it's a temporary thing and, what it did was just kind of decharge him and he's going to need Jennifer to recharge him. Maybe. Or maybe just a temporary thing and he's going to wake up and be fine. Who knows? But that's basically that part of the sentence. Meanwhile, Tobias gathers his forces. So this is, as we know from last episode, Tobias's big plan is to take down or take over the ASA now that he's kind of got a seat on, the big kids table with them, and now he wants to take it over. That's all I have for you guys in today's video. Next week is the big season 1 finale for Black Lightning, which is exciting. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And of course, it's good to know that Black Lightning will be getting a season 2, which was released last week. So be happy that we will be seeing Black Lightning again next season. As always, guys, follow me on Twitter at Truetalk6blog and Instagram. I have a Facebook page. All of the social medias will be linked in the description. And as always, happy Tuesday. Let's talk.